Benjamin, thanks very much for joining us from Budapest. Just tell me a little bit more about Limehouse Partners, and obviously you've also recently announced a link up with Avison Young.
The situation now is that I joined Jake and Celestin at the end of last year of Legacy Lodge and Partners, and we have now reorganized or set up our business into two pockets, let's say, or two activities. One is the legacy asset management. This has been rebranded under the Limehouse brand, and we have currently mandates in Budapest. And our goal is to expand this business at a more regional level in the CEE region with existing and new clients. And in parallel to that, we have taken our, let's say, support function or more agency functions of this asset management activity and put them under the Avison Young umbrella for specifically the Hungarian market. And today that covers property management, project development services, and the transaction advisory, the capital market or investment, if you want. So this is now set up under the Avison Young umbrella. So in this aspect, we join an existing setup with Poland and Romania, where we have two existing successful businesses actually of Avison Young. So we join the teams, and there will be more announcement and more expansion in Europe for Avison Young, but also more specifically in CEE in the coming months. So we will see the network in CEE also getting more substantial throughout 2021, basically.
That suggests that there's a sort of, I suppose, optimistic view on the markets in CEE. How do you see those, and particularly, I suppose, for Hungary?
I mean, I can't deny that there's also a lot of questions currently on our market. So I think we are entering some challenging months and times. I mean, the fundamentals of the market and the fundamentals of the regions are still here, absolutely. And while there might be some price adjustment, there might be some more quiet months. I would say at the beginning of 2021, the view is that the market, the fundamentals of the market and the medium to long-term support of the activity are here to stay. Ready to go through some challenging months, but hoping for more quiet waters a bit down the year or next year.
What do you see as the kind of opportunities at the moment for investors who might be looking at the region, Benjamin?
I think today there's a bit of wait and see, I would say, in CEE. I mean, maybe the Polish market stayed a bit more liquid, but in a lot of markets, I mean, we saw obviously in line with what happened in Europe in general, we saw the volumes coming down with this stop and go business that we experienced last year because of the lockdown and the restriction on traveling and so on. I'm afraid we're going to still experience some of this for sure at the beginning of 2021 and probably till the summer. So that the context stays a bit the same, I would say. In this context, I think we see a bit of polarization currently of the market. On one side, still some investors very keen to go for core and very established and very core product, and that was one relatively liquid aspect of the market. And on the other side, there's investors who are getting ready or preparing for more value add or more opportunistic type of transaction, waiting for a certain repricing on our market, which didn't reprice much yet. But I think capital is ready to enter where we see bottleneck today in terms of transaction on this more value add and opportunistic segment is definitely with the financing. I mean, banks became a bit more quiet and have more of a wait and see approach and more conservative than what we experienced in the last 3 or 4 years in the region. And I think that's create also a bit of slowdown and less liquidity and less activity on our market. And I think sellers and buyers will have to at some point come together in terms of pricing and expectations. And I will hope that we will see that taking shape by mid-year or by the summer. Our view is that we will have a relatively quiet first half maybe, but things will start to get more into action and traction in the second half of 21.
And Benjamin, in terms of the sectors, I suppose, what opportunities are you seeing there?
I would say that in CEE in general, but it's in line with what we see globally. So basically, investors are very comfortable and very keen on logistic. This is staying, and the sector has gone through and is going through the crisis relatively very well, actually. So lots of appetite on logistic, nothing new there. I think what's a new development in the region is probably the openness or the attraction for residential product. I'm talking about institutional residential products, so like blocks of flats or full buildings. This is something which is existing maybe already on the Polish side. They are a bit more advanced in the development of this segment, but investors are getting more open on this residential product. And we should see some more transaction not only in Poland, but in the region on this segment. So that's quite new, I would say, and an interesting development. And obviously offices, I mean, in a market like Hungary, last year offices still represented 65% or 60% of the volume. This remains the backbone of our investment activity. And I think while there's a lot of discussion on, is the office dead? Okay, by now we think that for sure it's not dead. It will have to transform and adjust. But it's a product we need, and some investors are still keen on this. And obviously, the question marks or the more difficult sell is retail. I think we see liquidity on food and core type of retail and services, but retail in general is a bit more difficult sell for the teams working on acquisition. Not everybody is keen to take a retail opportunity to the investment committee for sure today.
Great to catch up on the Hungarian market. Thanks very much for joining us, Benjamin.
Thank you.